So I'm just going to start up. I have some notes to add some structure to this little video. So the 6 major tips. First point, you are awesome. Strong, structured, focused writing will help the committee. That's the scholarship committee or the internship committee or whatever committee know exactly how awesome you are. So these major points, 6 points: avoid recycling, answer the question, back up claims with factual evidence, describe achievements related to the topic, use the active voice, and write with structure. So the first point is avoid recycling. This was one of my major problems. I was recycling my cover letter. I had a good cover letter I liked that had all the things I was most proud of in it. But that's not what people who are reading your essay are concerned with. That's not what people who are reading your cover letter are concerned with. They're interested in whether or not you are interested in them. If you are interested in that school where you want to get that scholarship, if you are genuinely interested in that internship, if you're genuinely interested in that career. So part of that is putting in the effort to write a unique cover letter or essay for every application that you fill out. And you might think that, oh, they're not going to notice. They notice, okay? Teachers notice when you wrote that essay at 2 a.m. Same thing with committees. Committees notice if this is a recycled cover letter. I've been on a hiring committee. I've held that recycled cover letter in my hand, and the whole committee has said, that is a recycled cover letter. That is someone who's not taking us seriously. So particularly for competitive positions and competitive scholarships, that kind of recycling can seem insulting to people on the other end who are reviewing your application. And I know it's a huge pain, especially since it feels like you're writing about the same stuff over and over. Why not just use the same essay? But first of all, once you get used to using structure and get some practice at it, it's really not that painful to write a 500 or 1,000-word essay. The words will start flowing naturally once you get used to designing a little bit of structure into your writing. And also, it is really worth the effort because they really, really can tell. Now, the next point is answer the question. Now, in an essay, that's a literal question about what leadership means to you, or for the honors application, it was, what do we mean by academic excellence? In the case of a cover letter, the question is the job description. Do you have this list of skills that are listed in this job description? Everything that you write in that essay or that cover letter should somehow tie back to the question. So when you're rereading that cover letter or rereading that essay, if it doesn't tie back into that original idea, just cut it out, scratch it out. And I know that's, once again, that is a super painful process for most writers, is scratching out something that you're really, really proud of. Oop, the lights went off in my classroom. But you still have to. So if it doesn't tie back in, exit out. Back up every claim you make with factual evidence. So I read a lot of essays about, I'm hardworking, I really love this, I excel at leadership, I'm really good with responsibility, and then nothing, okay? Anybody can claim that they're awesome. Now, the thing that you have working to your advantage is that you are awesome. But if the committee doesn't see that in the document, they'll never know how awesome you are. So another tip I have here, so I wouldn't forget it, remember you've done a lot of cool options that are connected back to your future career. So if you're looking for examples, think about those options that you did. Did you present in front of a class? Well, that shows that you're comfortable with public speaking. Did you write an essay on the history of your career? Well, then you know something about the foundations of your career, and you might want to incorporate that into one of your essays or your cover letters. So try to think critically. You can also think beyond honors options or beyond JCC, places that you've experienced at work, through volunteering. All these are great places to mine for factual evidence that you are what you say that you are. Now, don't be too hard on yourself. This is all introductory stuff. So if you're saying to yourself, but this this isn't that incredible. I mean, I prove that I'm hardworking because I volunteer to stay late when I volunteer, or I prove that I excel at leadership because I taught a class on swimming or something like that. That's okay. They know that you're a sophomore in college or a junior in college or a freshman in college. That's totally okay, but you just need to make sure that you have some line of evidence. Describe achievements that are related to the topic. I saw a lot of great achievements of the community. I saw a lot of great achievements of different schools and cool things that schools are doing. But what you should be talking about isn't what your school did. It should be what you did. So if your school had a good project, tell me about that role in that project. If your family is already involved in the veterinary business and are veterinarians, don't tell me like I grew up around veterinarians. Tell me how you went down to the veterinary clinic and helped out your parents and fell in love with that subject through that experience. The other point is if it doesn't have anything to do with the topic, even if it's an achievement that's really, really cool, don't talk about it. It's off topic. A good example is this is my example. I came up with it. Being able to play the harmonica with your armpit is pretty cool and unique. If any of you know how to do that, that's awesome. But you wouldn't include it in an essay on leadership unless somehow your harmonica armpit playing is connected back to leadership. So you taught a class on harmonica armpit playing, or you lead a group of motorcycle riding harmonica armpit players, okay? All of those things are great examples of leadership. But once again, just telling me in an essay on leadership, by the way, I am an excellent armpit harmonica player, that's not terribly helpful. Use the active voice. This is a grammatical thing. I think when we are first learning how to write, the passive voice sounds very, very formal. And some teachers think that in academic writing, you shouldn't use you. And that was true back in like 1950, but the world has changed a lot since 1950. And the active voice is preferred in almost all writing, including academic writing. So a lot of people don't know the difference between the passive and active voice. That's a good thing to Google. There's a lot of videos on TED Ed about passive and active voice, but I give you a good example. For example, passive voice is the hamburgers were eaten. Active voice is he ate the hamburgers. So the subject is the subject of the noun that's doing the action is the subject. Rather than the subject is the noun having the action done to it. Okay. Active voice has a lot of advantages. It sounds really clear. People know what you're talking about when you use the active voice, which may not be clear in the passive voice. The hamburgers were eaten. Who ate the hamburgers? Did zombies eat the hamburgers? It also, the passive voice sounds a little pompous and stilted, and it's partially good to avoid for that reason. Active voice also projects a lot of confidence and implies that you're a very, very firm and confident writer. And the very last one, which we're going to spend a little bit more time on, is write with structure. A simple, clear structure that you understand is better than a fancy structure that, is what the cool kids are doing these days. If you don't understand the fancy structure, then you might not be strong in writing with it. So we're just going to review the reliable, simple 5-paragraph essay format that I have no doubt you have seen before. But looking at your essays and looking at your cover letters, it would be good to review because it's a very, very strong, simple way to introduce a lot of structure into your writing.